Francesco Holmes, cultural mediator at Caritas Refugee Project in the northern Italian province of Lodi, joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us, Francesco.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what Caritas does. What kind of work do you all do?
So I work in a refugee camp in the north of Italy, in this region of Lodi, which was the first to be hit by the coronavirus. And I actually live in the town, Codogno, which was the first town to be hit. The first patient was found in Codogno. And I also have here one of my refugee housing, because we have small houses the way that we work here. And so obviously we are still up and running. We are an essential service for the state, also considered an essential service. So we have the possibility to remain open. And obviously there is no protocol for this situation. So we are moving by improvisation. We're trying to understand what we can do. Definitely, we have one project which is to limit contact as much as possible, and to attempt to limiting the movement and contact of also all of our guests and the refugees that we have in our structures.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it really impacted your work.
Yes, well, definitely. Well, what we do is that to limit their movement, we try to bring food directly to the place and medicine. And mostly we are working on gathering and translating information as much as possible and relating it to our guests, which are from all over the world, and they speak different languages, and not all of them know how to read and write. So we're trying to make short videos and short vocal messages that can be spread and make people understand. Yeah, a lot of the work is sensibilization.
I know you had mentioned, you're living in that red zone area where the coronavirus hit the hardest. Can you talk about how your life in particular has changed, and maybe your neighbors around you?
Well, my life really, except the part of understanding what the responsibilities are. Mainly the difficulty was that at the beginning there was a kind of a mixed message from the government. On one side there was a very strong measure, which was the quarantine, is closing all this area and closing Codogno, especially the town where I live. And on the other side, obviously, for perception management, they were trying to say that it's not a lot of people die and it's fine. So the confusion, this contradiction really brought the population to polarize in totally separate understanding of the situation. People would go from being just terrified to think it's all fake, and this was very bad for the situation overall. I was lucky because I working for other people and helping other people definitely gave me the chance of mobilizing my time and know what to do with my time. So in that sense, I think I'm one of the lucky ones. For that reason, I had stuff to do. So it was good. Yeah. But
Yeah, and the coronavirus, as I'm sure you know, now we're starting to get cases over here in the United States.
Yes.
As an Italian-American living in Italy during this time, very difficult time, do you have any advice for the American people right now?
Sure, I actually do. Well, the fact is that what seems to work is to try to create or at least promote roles within even single households, so that the responsibility is seen as something you share directly with somebody else that you know, instead of having the government or a central entity taking all the responsibility, which might feel like in the Italian case at the beginning, as all these measures are imposed from the outside. And we have seen, I've seen a negative reaction, which is definitely detrimental for public health. So for people to understand that we have to create, in a certain sense, a net of intertwined responsibilities. Because it's either we're all understanding what we have to do, or it's not going to work. It's bad for us.
Absolutely.
So I would suggest that.
Well, Francesco, thank you so much for your time and sharing all your insight with this, and we really appreciate it. Francesco Holmes, cultural mediator at Caritas Refugee Project. Thanks again.
Thank you.